Tupac pour out a little liquor. We got a caller in, about to bring her on. Call you there? Call you there?
Yes, good morning. Yes.
Good morning, Ashley. You couldn't be here because your knee, but you're calling in, so I appreciate that. What's going on with
you? Yeah, nothing. Just checking in with you, and I stay connected, but I just wanted to say good morning. I miss being there. I'll be back soon, hopefully. But
hey, you can bring the crutches with you.
It's more about transportation.
Oh, you need a ride?
Yeah, I haven't been cleared to drive yet, so.
Why you ain't stay now? We would have came and picked you up. I would have sent Pete to get you on the way. He live out that way? Well, kinda. He live farther. He'll pass you before he get here. I could have came and got you. Only 10 minutes, 15 minutes away.
Yeah. Well, I'm just riding it out. So yeah, maybe soon though.
That's all right, bet.
I'll be up to it.
All right. Well, if you ever need a ride, just hit me up though. But while I have you on the line, I got to talk to you about this. So on Saturday, it was June 4th. Lizzo took to Twitter where she slammed men who use her name as an insult. But basically, apparently, at some point, people call big women Lizzos. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Right. So then she gets on Twitter, she says, dudes be ugly with no chicks, talking about OK Lizzo as an insult in girls' comment. She wrote, I'm beautiful, rich, and get immaculate D. It's a compliment. If you can't make it past these cheeks, just say that. What do you think about that comment?
I carefully agree with her.
Yeah, I do too. I'm like, nobody deserves to have their name synonymous with an insult. That's just disrespectful.
Yeah, like I remember when, like how they were throwing around Precious as an insult.
Yeah. Oh man, I even got called Precious.
But it's something about being a big black woman that's offensive to everybody on earth. And
do you think they're offended?
Well, people try to use it as something offensive.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So they try to. Yeah, but I mean, they've been trying to use fat as offensive forever, though. Like, come on, I get called fat on the daily.
Well, yeah, I'm like, if somebody calls me fat, I'm like, okay, all right, like that's something you can see, but that doesn't. I think people are not creative. If you're going to insult me, be creative. Insult my intelligence. Insult my character. Don't insult something
superficial.
Everybody's fat. Like, whatever.
Yeah, we are.
I think I do think that's disrespectful, and I think that's rude, and I think people who say that are silly. It's silly. It's low. So I'm glad she recognizes that that's not an insult, because it's not. She's right. She's beautiful. She's rich. Number one.
And she don't mess with fat dudes. That's the only thing I don't like about Lizzo.
Yeah. I mean, that's preference, you know? But, the fact that
I wonder,
you're, her name in your mouth as an insult says a whole lot about you anyway, because, that means you're still talking about me. You thinking about me. So.
Oh, I ain't gonna lie. I used to think about Lizzo every night before I went to sleep. and then I found out that she ain't mess with fat dudes, and I was like, yeah, I can't rock with her, yo. It was a blatant, to me, I'm like, yo, really we gonna go there? Because I don't think, because the thing is, coming out of your mouth, not doing it is one thing, but to come out and say it is another. For example, if some famous, singer or actor or something like that said, I don't date with fat girls, I don't mess with fat girls, which no one has ever said because it's career suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and literally, I remember the world was in love with Lizzo until she said that statement, because a lot of fat dudes was like, I love Lizzo.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we can't speak our preferences, but at the same time, you think about it the same way people say, I don't care if you're a black guy, you date a white woman. Just don't be like, I don't date black women because they're this.
Right.
Like, you're allowed to have a preference, but
to vocally
you don't have
use
to put it out there.
Yeah, and because when you put it out there, that's basically telling people that they're not worthy. If I was to come out my mouth and say I don't date fat girls, that's me basically blatantly disrespecting and shaming any woman that feels that they're overweight. That's just how I look at it.
It's also perception too, because you might look at somebody and say, oh yes, she's fat, and that person might be like, okay, no. Or you might look at somebody and say, well, she's not fat, and somebody be like, yes, she is. I thought you didn't date fat girls, or you know, whatever. Like, it's all about perception. It's all about perception. It's all about preference. Like, I don't say I don't date light-skinned men, but like for a minute,
you don't date light-skinned men.
I don't, but at the same time, I dated a lot of light-skinned men.
Oh, you have dated light-skinned men?
Yeah, absolutely. While I have a preference, I date all over the spectrum.
Really? You ever dated a white dude?
Yeah. Not really since high school.
Oh, but you have dated a white dude. How was that? What was that like? Was he disrespectful?
No, not at all.
See, because that's what I hear. I hear white dudes don't be disrespectful. I don't know. I ain't never date no dudes, especially no white one. But never dated a dude.
It's so hard. It's so hard, though. Everything's a case-by-case basis, obviously. But even in, like, I mean, I've dated disrespectful black men. I've dated, so it really just depends on the person, the character, what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept, because that's another thing that we don't like to talk about. Let me tell you what you're not going to do. You're not going to talk to me a certain way. You're not going to act a certain way. And don't think that just because I'm this person or, because I'm a meek and mild person that I'm going to take your BS, because I'm not.
Well, so how do you handle BS? How do you personally handle BS? Like, if someone brings BS to your door, what are your steps to, get that situation handled and move on?
So I'm generally pretty kind. I give you a chance to rectify the problem. I'll be like, listen, there's a problem happening. We can do one of two things. We can resolve it or we can part ways. Mm-hmm. And if there's resolution, cool. If there's not, I'll be like, you know what? I gave you the opportunity to rectify this, and it didn't happen. So I think we need to go in separate directions. I don't feel like we need to.
You effectively communicate.
I try my best to do that. It's a process. I've not always been an effective communicator. And in fact, when I face conflict, a lot of times I shut down. Right. However, I recognized that doing that is not helpful. And so that's growth, age, all of those things go along with me being able to do that. Lessons. I mean, I guess I could speak on a situation where I was dealing with an ex where there was one specific thing that I asked him not to do.
And what was that?
Like,
was it wipe his hands on the decorative towels?
Don't laugh, but that was actually one of my pet peeves. But that wasn't the specific thing I asked for. But that almost caused a fight.
What was the specific thing that you asked for if it's not too personal?
Yeah, I said, don't put your bare butt on my comforter.
Oh, wow. Wow. He was just rubbing his cheeks on your comforter?
Yeah, like he would lay on my comforter with his butt. And I was like, don't lay on the comforter. If you're gonna have your butt out, lay on the sheets.
Or put some drawers on.
Dirty up the sheets. Right, or put some drawers on. And I come in the room, he's on my comforter. I'd be like, get off my comforter.
Did you ever have any boo-boo stains on your comforter?
Oh no, it would have been over by then.
He wasn't wiping his ass or something, like it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, like that's no. Like I can't get with a grown man who doesn't wipe good. Sorry.
All right. I'm just making sure. So it's bare ass on comforter. That's basically that's your line.
That was just one. That was there were. Listen, before I go any further, I need to preface this with saying there were a lot of red flags in the relationship that I ignored until I couldn't take them anymore.
Like, what were some of the other red flags that you ignored before you spazzed on the booty on the comforter? I was just curious. What was?
Well, wiping. Okay.
He's always time you used to say wiping front to back.
No. So he's wiping his hands on my hand towels, obviously. But he used the hand towel for cleanup.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like one of the decorative towels for cleanup.
So now it snaps in half. Okay, what's another one?
He like when the trash can was full. He just mashed more trash on it and then walked away.
He wouldn't take the trash out.
He didn't take the trash out.
Was he living with you?
But no, he was just over a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, then you still help out.
Yeah, like you're in my house, like you're staying at my house, 2-3 days at a time. You take the trash out. But one of the straws that broke the camel's back was he maneuvered his way out of the driveway around the trash can on trash day. And then when he came back, he maneuvered his way back in the driveway with the trash can.
He didn't move it.
Didn't roll the trash cans back up to the house.
Wow.
But drove around them. And I was like, he didn't possess life skills. Like, you're a grown man. I need you to have life skills. I need you to understand, finances. I don't need you to be like, can you help me fill out this job application? No, sir.
Oh, wow. You had one of those?
Yeah, I shouldn't have to remind you or ask you to bathe. Like, you come home from work or you come over after you work and you've been sweating and you take off your clothes, want to get in my bed. No, sir, take a shower.
You should know that before coming through.
Right.
So did he ever come home after a hard day's work and put his bare ass on your comforter?
Yes, he did.
Oh, wow. That's what broke y'all up, huh?
That was one of the many. The thing that really, really broke me was when I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Mm-hmm. Like I was patient. But the thing that really set me off was when I was dealing with my father's estate. Like after he passed away, my sister and I were working to, close things down, get things straight. So I was out of town and I was dealing with that. It was a very stressful situation. And instead of being supportive, he was still needy. And I needed him to understand that it was my turn to be needy.
Oh, wow.
And so some things that he said in conversation turned me off. And I said, I don't think we can do this anymore. So I was trying to be...
I was going to say, that's a good question. When a man turns a woman off, is it possible to turn her back on, or is she done for good?
Generally, she's done.
And there's nothing you can do to ever get back into that sweet spot.
It takes a lot of work. She's got to be really, it depends on how done she is or where she, if it's like the first offense, you may be able to get back. But if she's tired of you, if she's at her breaking point, there's no coming back. And even if there is coming back, you have to work twice. You have to work twice as hard because you're literally trying to make up for the deficit and prove that you can stay on top.
Right.
And people don't like to talk about that. They say, oh, yeah, we can get it. It takes work, and you have to be really committed. You have to be committed to making sure that you really want to be in that situation.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Jayhana said it depends on, I'm also working. But it depends on how strongly she's turned off and how strong her feelings are for him, and that's the truth. Because it could be something simple, like I'm turned off, like, okay, I'm annoyed he doesn't take the trash out, but that's something that can be changed. And how I feel about him, like, I love him, he's annoying, he does this. I get annoyed by, like, I put the seat down. I'm irritated about the toilet seat being up every day. Every time I go in the bathroom, that toilet seat's up, and I'm just like, what in the world? That's now.
I just noticed something in just our interaction, and I could be wrong, but it seems like when women are done with a man, it's always about like something like for example, in your situation, putting bare butt on the seat, taking out the trash. Just I ain't gonna say small reasons, but things that could be tweaked if the person showed any sort of concern. You know what I mean? But it's always, just things that pile up. Whereas when a dude's done with a chick, she has to cheat on us. Like to get rid of a dude, like to actually break up with a dude, unless he meets something better. For the most part, and you know, there's dudes like that. But like as far as a healthy relationship goes, woman gotta smack your mama. She gotta cheat on you. She gotta punch your baby in the face. It gotta be something like that.
Kick your puppy.
You know what I'm saying? Not even kicking my puppy. Like you might just pick up the dog and be like, "Babe, you tripping right now." But like when it comes to like a dude, like for example, I lost a chick because I wiped my hands on a decorative towel. That's why I asked you at the very beginning. Like literally, I lost a chick because I refused to take her to Roof Chris. It was like little.
I remember that one.
And I hate to say petty things, but it's always little petty things. Like women will walk away for the small, like in the grand scheme of things, as far as from my mindset. It'd be like the smallest things you can lose your woman for. But then like women on the other hand, y'all gotta do grandiose displays of disrespect for a man to leave. Like you literally gotta say, man, forget him, he ain't nobody, to his face in front of his friends. For a dude to be like, yeah, I'm done with her.
So here's the thing that let you know a little secret. When a woman leaves you for something petty, she was gonna leave anyway.
Ooh. Good. Oh, put me on game, Ash. So you telling me? That? So she was gonna leave me anyway. She just used that as an excuse.
Yeah, a lot of times a woman will use something as an out. It's like, you know what, I can. But then, okay, rewind. Some women, obviously, I can't speak for all women. Yeah, but some women, if they leave you, if they're like, you know what, he brushes his teeth and back and forth, and I need him to brush his teeth in circles, something like that, that was doomed to fail anyway, because there's always going to be something that she's looking for that's wrong. Right. Now, for me, my example is that was more like the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, there was, like I said, there were a lot of red flags anyway, but it was like a constant buildup. But for me, it wasn't so much the actual things that were done that was the problem. It was that I felt disrespected. Okay. Because if I ask you to do something, number one, if you're in my home and I ask you to do something and you don't do it, that's disrespectful. If I ask you not to put your bare butt on my comforter and you keep doing it, that's disrespectful. If I ask you not to use the decorative towels to wipe your hands and you do it and then you use it as a cleanup rag, that's disrespectful. Like, and all these little things let me know that he didn't respect me or my space.
And that's when you had to kick him to the curb with the trash.
Yeah.
Like don't drive by the trash can, just jump on in
it. Yeah. And let me roll it to the curb because they come on Tuesday morning. You be ready? Okay, great. But it was, it was just about the level of respect or lack of respect. And then also, I can't get with a man who doesn't have life skills.
What do you mean by life skills? Explain to people who's listening. What exactly do you consider a life skill?
Basic life skills. If you have a job and you're supposed to go every day and you don't know that you're supposed to go every day, how do you – that was a problem. Or
he didn't want to go to work.
Yeah, like he would like skip a day of work. And I'm thinking, wow, they're letting him call out a lot.
Did he lose his job?
Calling out. Eventually, yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, how about if a man doesn't go to work, but he keeps his job?
If he does, how can he?
Vacation days.
If he has vacation days, then he has income.
Right. Because income don't go nowhere. He just don't go to work. Like, sometimes he just be like, man, I'm taking the week off. I don't care. Because, like, let me tell you something about dudes, especially broke dudes. We'll take a vacation to play Madden. Yeah. We ain't even got to go to the Bahamas.
That's called self-care, too. People don't like... I remember when my first job out of college, one of my friends, she's like, you never take days off unless you have something to do. And I was like, what? And she's like, sometimes I just take a day off because I need to breathe.
Me too.
And I was like, huh. And that's, even now, that's still a concept that I struggle with, taking a day off because I just need to breathe.
I take days off, but what I prefer to do more than anything is to go in and work, and then it'd be that day where like maybe there's vacation hours available or something along those lines, and leave early. That's what I like to do. I like to go to
Yeah.
work. I don't mind going to work, right? I just like to leave work early on sometimes because it just seems like it's just a treat.
Yeah.
You
Which again, that's the same thing. That whole idea of saying, you know what, I want to treat myself in a way, and we're so conditioned. I conditioned myself to think that the only time I should take off from work is when I have something to do. And I had to learn that sometimes it's okay to just take a day because you
don't feel
like sleeping late. Right. And so I have no problem with a person who understands about balance and balancing their life. And if he has vacation time and can afford to take the time off, cool. But if he's taking time off and then asking me to help him pay his phone bill, or if he's taking time off and he, can't put gas in his car, then that's problematic. That lets me know that he's out of balance. He doesn't have life skills. Like, I shouldn't have to ask you, did you pay your insurance? Or you shouldn't say, oh, I didn't know that I needed to pay this.
Was there an age gap between y'all two? Were you older than him?
No.
Okay.
He was older than me.
Oh, man.
But in, again, dissecting our relationship later, I found out that he had always relied on someone else. Whether it was a woman or a parent or a mentor, he was always reliant on someone else to help him do everything. And so, literally, he didn't know how to fend for himself. And I was like, that's not the relationship I want. I don't want a dependent.
Those are strong words.
I mean, I don't.
I've had a dependent. I've had a dependent with dependents. So I know what you mean.
Like, yeah, but that's a choice. Like, when you marry or you're in a relationship with someone, you make a choice to say, okay, I want this person. We're in here. You have kids or stepchildren. So I mean, that in itself is a very, very big choice and decision when you're saying, okay, basically my life is going to be shared. But I just couldn't get with caring for a capable adult. Because it's one thing if you have someone who is incapable of caring for themselves, but he was a capable adult who just didn't know how to do it.
Or didn't want to.
And I, at that point in my life, didn't want that.
Okay. Is there ever a point in your life where you could want that?
No, not at this point.
That's because you're good now.
Like I imagined, I imagined my life would be different at this point. I always thought I would have a couple of kids, a husband, a couple of kids, whatever. I always thought that was going to be my life. And it's not, but like my life is fine.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I'm content with where I am. If I ended up somehow with some dependence, I would handle it. But what I don't want is an adult man, a grown man, a person who's supposed to be my partner, to be a dependent.
Okay. So let me ask you one last question before you go, because I got to play some music in a second.
Oh, so you're going to kick me off?
Nah, I'm not going to kick you off. You can just you can be on hold. But let me ask you a question, though. A genie pops up today, right? Pops up at your doorstep, gives you one wish for one material thing, like one thing that you want. What would you ask for?
One material thing.
Or not just material, but like if you could ask a genie for one thing. Not in J.D. Scranton, so you can't add any, conjunctions or anything, but what would you ask for? Just one straight up thing.
Probably unlimited financial resources.
Always with the money. All right, that's what I wanted to know.
I mean, in fairness, money solves a lot of problems.
Yeah, you're right. So I mean, hey, that might be what I asked for too. I don't know. I haven't thought about it long enough. I just thought about the question right then. I was thinking, you know, because you were talking about how with the things you have, but you already have unlimited financial resources.
I mean, I do because I have I'm not gonna get all super spiritual, but I do. I'm gonna leave it like that.
Well, Ashley, I gotta play some music. I'm gonna put you on hold, but if you hang up, I understand.
Well, I actually do have to go back to work, but I just wanted to call and say good morning to y'all, or to y'all, to you.
Oh, thank you.
And I hope you have a wonderful Monday. Keep doing your thing. You know, I love it. So
appreciate it.
And I'll be back soon.
Yes. And if you need a ride, let me know. And
I will.
Because Steve got a handicap accessible van now, so we're good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I roll up there. I roll in.
All right. Come on through.
All right. Take care.
Love you. Yo, and that was that Luther Vandross, Never Too Much. The more I hear that song, the more I see that as a simp anthem. Think about what he says in this song. He says, I ain't even gonna go that part. This dude said, woke up today, looked at your picture just to get me started. I called you up, but you weren't there, and I was brokenhearted. Hung up the phone, can't be too late. The boss starts demanding. Opened the door, and my surprise, there you were standing. Come on, man, that's simping. Well, who needs to go to work to hustle for another dollar? I'd rather be with you because you make my heart scream and holler. Like, yo, we got to stop simping. And I think it was music like this, even though it's beautiful, even though it sounds great, even though it's well written. And it shows, like, at one point, that was what romance was. Never Too Much was how women wanted their men to be. Then men started being that, and they want something else. I guess we pretended to be that, maybe. Like, we pretended to be that, got the draws, but now they just want dudes to just dog them out and smut them out. I don't know. My girl is different. I'm cool. But Luther's, I was like, dang, that's a simp song. I never really, like, I listen to lyrics, but, like, you know how, like, you really listen to lyrics? I'm like, wait a second. This is a simp. So anyway, back to reality. For those worried and concerned about the safety of the nation, just know that Russian President Putin, I'm not saying he got gas, I mean, that's his name. He's warning that Moscow will strike the new targets if the U.S. supplies long-range missiles to Ukraine. Now, I'm just got to say this to you, Putin. You can't even meet Ukraine. You don't want it with us. If you thought Ukraine was something, don't let America get in your ass. And I ain't no kumbaya, rally, support the troops type brother, but let's keep it a band. You can't beat Ukraine. That is like somebody struggling against Jake Paul trying to take on Tyson Fury. It ain't about to happen. It ain't gonna go down the way you want it to. And speaking of, North Korea is testing missiles. So guess what? South Korea and the United States started testing their missiles and fired right off the coastline of North Korea. I think that was kind of gangster if you think about it. Like, oh, you gonna show your guns? It was kind of like if you ever seen Don't Be a Menace to South Central by drinking your juice in the hood. And they started having like the weapons off. Like dude pulled out a gun. Next thing you know, dude had a missile. It was something like that. North Korea started firing off their missiles. We started firing off missiles. One missile. We only fired one missile. They fired off like 17 this year so far. But we fired off one to let them know you don't want this smoke. And the same thing goes for Putin. Putin, you don't want this smoke, man. And I'm not challenging you. I mean, I ain't president. But you got to understand that Ukraine is throwing them hands with you, and y'all about to back out and pull out of Ukraine. So, and you already lost a third of your military. Come on, man. Don't try it. Don't try it, because America, one thing, man, we might not win the war. We might not win the battle, but we'll win the war. So, also for all the mothers out there, the baby formula manufacturing plant that has been at the center of the nationwide shortage restarted production Saturday. Abbott, located in Sturgis, Michigan, said in a statement it had started production of specialty formulas for babies who can't tolerate more common ones, with the first batch expected to be available to consumers around June 20th. Similac and other products made at the plant will take longer to become available, the company had said. But the Sturgis plant has been shut down for months following an FDA inspection that found dangerous bacteria, which can be deadly to infants in several areas in the facility. So you got to understand, yes, there is a baby formula shortage, but could you imagine the outcry that would be if babies started getting sick, or even worse, maybe even succumbing, dying due to bacteria and deadly variants in the bacteria? That is sold. That's lawsuits. And I'm just saying, you still got breast milk. You can still make some milk. There's a bunch of things you can do. There's a few things you can do in regards to that. So, whatever you have to do to get your baby some formula, go ahead and knock that out. Because, but you got about, 14 days? Yeah, you got about 14 days, 2 weeks. And you'll be able to go back to the grocery store and buy formula. And it probably will be way more expensive because you know how America loves that inflation stuff. So now, I don't know how much milk costs. I ain't got no kids. But, yeah, handle that. Now, speaking of baby formula, Nick Cannon got another one on the way. I ain't even gonna talk about it like that, but I'm just like, congratulations, Nick. You got the money to support another baby, so it ain't even no problem. And I think that men that have millions of dollars should have a bunch of babies. You know why? Because those babies are going to be born and raised and have opportunities. They're not going to be, on Medicaid. They're not going to need food stamps. They're not going to need any of that. Let the millionaires have the babies. Nick Cannon, you can have 10. I'll take my 0. Because Nick Cannon can afford 10. I don't think you should be able to have kids if you can't afford to take care of them. As a matter of fact, I saw this one interview with YK Osiris. No, I do not know who he is, but he's supposed to be famous. But he believes that women who are in relationships with men shouldn't pay any bills. See, this is that millionaire mindset right here. So the only problem is there's only 1% of millionaires in the world, black millionaires. Now, no guest today, Jay Hyness, so you can call in. But there's a shortage of millionaires. Because the thing is, only the person with a millionaire mindset, upper six-figure mindset, is going to believe that a woman should not pay any bills. I'm not saying that I think my woman should pay the big bills, but she got to pay some. I don't know. What do y'all think about that? Should women pay bills? That's a good question, because apparently millionaires like YK Osiris believes, make sure you got $100 on hand to get your woman's mindset. Her nails done and her hair done. That's God's mindset too. Women shouldn't pay bills. They had bills when God, because God ain't talked to us since Jesus. So, and back then, what bills did you have? Because the thing is, financial I think what it is I don't believe women should pay bills if women don't have nothing. If you ain't got no car, you ain't got a cell phone, and if you ain't got no life, no livelihood, you don't need to pay bills. You ain't got nothing to pay for. I believe a man should pay the mortgage, the light bill, maybe cable, his cell phone bill. You got to understand, this is the crazy thing. In a time where women out earn men, what are you doing with your money? If the man is paying all the bills, what are you doing with your money? Because it's one thing to not work. It's another thing to work and hoard all your money while you basically, spend all of his. So I'm kind of just curious on where that line is. So, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, call in, let us know where you feel the line should be. God said the man must be the leader, the provider, and the protector. So what is the woman supposed to be? That's what I want to know. Because we always have this thing, men's supposed to be the provider, the protector, and the leader. Okay, now what's the woman supposed to do? Anyway, just call in, let me know what you think, get it off your chest. Phone number here is 919-899-9305. 919-899-9305. Let me hear what you think. Anyway, keep it locked. Got some more jams for you. Yo, and that was that Bring the Pain by Method Man. But yeah, I still have this question. It's a burning question in me. Like, how much does it take for a man to be a provider? I was just doing some quick math on my end, right? Let's just say, man, 3 kids, house, each parent has a car, right? So there we go. We got 3 kids. Now, the cost to raise a kid per year is roughly around $12,000 a year, which breaks down to be about $1,000 a month. I don't know no kids that need $1,000 a month, but I'm just Googling it, right? But I'm just going to lower that down, and I'm going to say for all 3 kids a month, you're looking at a G, right? So that's a G. Now, the average salary is 50 G's a year. After taxes, you're looking at roughly $3,000 a month. So 1 G takes care of the kids. Now you got 2 G's to cover all living expenses. You got 2 cars at an average rate of $350 to $500. I'm just gonna go on the high end for bad credit, go $500. That's another G. So now you got 1 G left, and you still got a mortgage. You still got a light bill, water bill, probably cable, cell phone bill, house insurance, car insurance. It basically means that in order for a man to be a provider, he has to be wealthy. The wealth gap is so huge that in order to provide a lifestyle that actually you want, because see, the thing is, the lifestyle a man wants is very simple. Like, I can't speak for all men, but me, I just need a crib, car, some cash in my pocket. Yeah, exactly. If a man is wealthy, he doesn't want his wife to take employment. You know why? Because he's wealthy. Now, this is the question. How many wealthy men are out there? And then looking the fact of how many wealthy men will actually want you. See, those are 2 questions that we need to ask. Number 1, you need a wealthy man in order to have a provider. In order for a man to be a provider in today's society, he has to be wealthy. In order for him to be a provider in today's society, he has to be wealthy. I'm going to say that one more time. So let's start there. And then on top of that, in order for him to be a provider for you, he has to want you. He has to see enough value in you for him to take on all of your problems, all of your financial burden, along with his own. And if you can get a wealthy man, then go ahead. But some women can't get a wealthy man unless I'm missing something. Because the thing is, a wealthy man, you're looking at less than 10% of the whole population. That's what I'm saying. You have to look at how many people are actually wealthy in the world, and then how many of those actually don't already have women, how many of them find you attractive, how many of them find you worthy of being wifey. And the thing is, like for example, if you have basic requirements for life, if your lifestyle is therefore suited for a man that's making $60,000, $70,000 a year, then albeit he won't want you to work. But if you want to get that new Camry, or you want to get like that new SUV that costs around $600-$700 a month, you're gonna need to go to work. If you gotta have an iPhone, if you gotta have your nails and your hair done, if you gotta have the trendiest clothes, if you have to have every channel on cable, if you have to have that lifestyle, then a man's not gonna be able to do it alone. Man, they priced it out of the game. You're talking about a code that was written before electricity. There was no light bill when God said man have to be the provider. There wasn't gas bills. There wasn't cable. There wasn't cell phones. There wasn't insurance. There wasn't a need for insurance. There wasn't 2-car households. There weren't $350,000 mortgages. Like, a wealthy man can. And that's the problem. That's why there are so many 40, 50, 60-year-old women in liquor houses right now. Last night and Saturday night, talking about there ain't no good men out there. No, there aren't no rich men out there. And I think that's the problem, is that women have perverted the word good with the word rich. So when they're talking about there ain't no rich men, there ain't none. There ain't no good men out there. Yeah, there are plenty of good men. They just don't have the money to provide the lifestyle that you want. And I mean, like you said, if if a man's wealthy, he doesn't want his wife to work, but to get wealthy, you got to invest that money so that it continues making money for him. So what you're telling me all the tools to be wealthy. So I hope that you're wealthy, being that you have all the answers. All right, so let's talk about. I'm in that gap. I'm a man that makes about $60K a year. You know, before I include comedy and stuff, right? So after taxes, because I get taxed out the game, that $60K, which is typically like 5 G's, turns into about $3,300. My rent $1,500, so that leaves me $1,800. Let's keep it a band. I will break it down. That leaves me $1,800 after rent, right? Got car insurance. I gotta pay renter's insurance. I gotta pay car payment. I got cell phone bills. I got groceries. I gotta pay for internet. I got to pay for everything I get. There's nothing free for me. Now, luckily, I am able to invest a little bit, but I'm nowhere near wealthy. I'm stable. Thank you, Ashley. Tax man, the IRS hates single people without kids. It's easy to invest when you get a $10,000 refund every month. But what about when you get your taxes back and you got to pay $1,300? What happens when you get your taxes back and you got to pay $1,500? See, I live that life. For the most part until this year. Tax season was up, man, until I started doing comedy and was able to file my comedy career as a loss. I hated tax season. I hated the IRS. It seems like you really have this historical context of what a provider is, but it never really changed. Like, while the times changed, the role of the provider stayed the same. I mean, it's easy to be a provider when all you have to do is go outside and work and then barter for the things that you need that you're lacking from what you're able to produce yourself. Like, if you're a farmer and you're growing grains, yeah, you can go out and trade grains for cattle or vice versa. Yeah, providers can do that because you already built the house with your own hands. You don't have a mortgage. You ain't got to worry about electricity and heating costs because there are none. That's when that code was written. Living in the 21st century, yeah, you have to be all the tools for a man to become wealthy. Women wasn't supposed to need to be wealthy. You see, that's just a deflection. They only need a man who either is wealthy or is able to be qualified and willing to become wealthy. Okay, if that's the case, then why is only 1% of men being wealthy? Why is only 1% of all men wealthy? By your logic, every man should be wealthy. Every man should be rich. I just don't really see where any of that is relevant to the conversation. Just honestly, you're talking about all the things that it can be wealthy, but you yourself aren't wealthy. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're not wealthy, how can you instruct someone else to be wealthy? And then on top of all that, you're still not saying what you can contribute to help that man be wealthy. And while he's going out there breaking his back trying to be wealthy, what are you doing? Because last I heard, 4 hands are better than 2. It's easier to build with 2 people doing the work than with 1 person doing the work. Like, I think a man should be a provider to the point where he should bring home the lion's share of the money, but that doesn't completely absolve a woman from bringing in money and contributing. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion. Let's see what they have to say. Got some jams for you. Yo, that's that, man. Gotta wrap up the show, bruh. But just so I could just chime in one last thing. I know we was having this discussion about providers, and it just seems to me that a man's supposed to be able to provide for himself before he can even try to provide for others. So number one, if you got a man that ain't living by himself, then he ain't husband material. But at the same time, like, if a man's living by himself already, right? He has his crib, he has him a whip, he's paying all the bills, then you can move in with that man. But when you move in with that man, Live at his lifestyle needs. Live at where he's at in life right now. Don't be trying to come in and be like, all right, now we need a bigger house. Now we need a bigger car. Because where's he going to get that from? That's all I'm saying. Like, men can provide, but what is it that you won't provide it for you? Because that might be where it's out of whack. But anyway, I'm about to get up out of here because I got to go to work because I'm a provider. Anyway, I got to go. But before I go, I got to say a few things. Number one, prayers for all the families that have lost relatives over the past weekend, past year. It's been rough since 2020 hit. I know that. Keep them in your prayers because they're going through some craziness right now. Unexpected, losing someone unexpectedly due to violence is not something easy to cope with. Number two, go out there and be petty, man. Slice somebody's tires if they mess with you the wrong way. I don't care what it is. Just let them know that you're not the one to mess with. And if they mess with you, they're going to mess around and find out. And number three, as always, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. We'll be back in here tomorrow playing some more jams with some more conversations. Love each and every one of y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all be good.